help me understand how the judicial branch has so much power. I mean, we talk about the deportations that Trump just got stopped. You're never going to believe who stopped him. Wait till you hear about this judge. This was appointed rapidly, right before Trump became president. So she has only been in a judicial appointment for the same time that Trump has been president, and now she just overruled the president of the United States. Wait till you hear about her. And you're not going to believe where she's from. It's unbelievable. We'll discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about what Elon Musk just talked about. You know, he's been pushing on the migration and how dangerous it is. Now, as a migrant himself, he has some huge comments and announcements that I think we need to be paying attention to. Also, you remember the wearables that RFK once talked about, the watches, the rings, and you know, we thought that was scary. All of a sudden, Palantir does become a partner with the Aura rings. We're going to discuss how much of a danger that is, especially when we hear this on the side that is not part of the global elite, but it is part of what the globalists have pushed from the 2030 agenda. I mean, it's unbelievable how what we're seeing is just the danger on both sides. Not because it has an RD behind its name, because it has a power and control element to it, good versus evil. Also, we're going to discuss, again, more persecution towards the Christian and Jewish movement, how we're seeing a world turn against the Creator. It's unbelievable. And then lastly, we're going to discuss, again, Bill Gates. There's a new story, a new bombshell story that says he's got plants all over the government. So even though Trump, even though RFK, even all these things are happening and we're pushing against his initiatives are still going through because his bureaucratic, secret people are working alongside any administration to ultimately get his way. I think we see this with a lot of big players, is they have plants all over the government. We're going to discuss all this today. The only way to fix it is to tear it all down. I actually like what RFK is doing because I think that's what we need to do all the way throughout the government. Let's dive into these stories today. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. We are humbled again by your support. We post daily, so please, if you didn't see today's video or yesterday's video, go check them out on this channel at 5 to 5:30 each and every day. Also, we have a vlog that's coming out on Life of Colby Mac, so please go check out Life of Colby Mac. We post there usually once or twice a week. The purpose is so you can see how we live sustainable, how we prepare, and how we kind of take these things that we talked about and put them into practice. That's how we live on a sustainable farm, and you kind of see our farm from that perspective. And of course, my children, and we go through daily life. So go check that out too. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about this situation with the deportations. Now, you know, Trump said he's not stopping them, which I hope he doesn't. Also, you know, and Tom Homan said the same thing. But we got to go back to the judge. All of a sudden, it comes out who the judge was that stopped this. Now, it's amazing how we give this much power to the judicial branch, especially when they're appointed by a force that was supposed to be nonpartisan, but every justice is partisan, people. Please, I'm so sick of hearing that judges are nonpartisan. Yes, they are. I think every one of them should have a D or R behind their name or whatever their affiliation is because they are already partisan. I want you to listen to this. Meet Sparkle L. Sukanen. That is the judge who overruled Trump. She is from Trinidad and Tobago. She has only been a federal judge for less than 6 months. So she was put in at the very end of the Biden administration. She was appointed. And guess what? The Congress and Senate passed her, approved her, and made sure she went in, even when the time was between Trump and his transitional period. This lady is not literally from here. Why do we keep putting immigrants and people who don't have the assimilated part of America, the thought pattern of America, the Constitution, the gratefulness of our nation, why do we keep putting them in leadership? It is baffling to me. So it's amazing we hear her saying that she doesn't want deportations taking place. Well, she's a migrant. She doesn't have our best interests at heart. I'm sorry. So I don't understand how she has more power than the President of the United States. I think, 77 million people elected Trump. Only one person appointed this lady, Biden. And on top of that now, listen to this. One person appointed, which is the person that was going out of power. And only the Democrats and a few of the rhinos actually put her into power. So she was a fully unelected judge that now says what goes down in America instead of the President of the United States. That is not right. A country like that will collapse. There's no way that's going to keep on going and us say, well, that's a check and balances. No, it's not. That's not check and balance at all. That's absolutely full power put on by the judicial branch. Every one of these people, if someone, I believe if we're going to make our president be born and raised here in America and they are full American, then we need to make sure every judge and every Congress and every Senate is too. I mean, honestly. If not, there should be some monster test they have to take to talk about assimilation in the belief structure of America. It's amazing how we allow this to take place. Our nation was set up on a Puritan Judeo-Christian value. It doesn't matter how you want to swing it. Every one of the main leaders believed in some kind of higher power in God. They may not believe in every aspect of the same Protestant faith that maybe I believed in, but ultimately it was a whole nation set upon values, morals, and aspirations for this to grow the American way in a godly way. And we have lost that. We're to a point now where, listen, just this last week, you've seen China, Turkey pull away from Israel. You see the media completely turn the narrative on Israel. Now, I think all the stuff that you're hearing about Gaza is so false. I honestly do. Now, I'm not saying war is not havoc. I'm not saying people are not dying on both sides. Absolutely. It's horrific. But that is war. But to be honest with you, Israel in America, there is tons of aid sitting in Gaza right now. You know who's holding that up? The Palestinian Authority, Hamas, and the UN. Because it puts a bad shadow on Israel, which ultimately they think will allow for Israel to be, lambasted against in America and on throughout the world. It's working too, sadly. It's amazing that we have now people that are supporting the terror group of Hamas more than they are supporting Israel. It's amazing how we believe this tiny little nation is ruling the world. That is the most idiotic, foolish, lazy, lackadaisical way of looking at life. It's so false. And if you're believing that, just do your research. Do your research. It is ridiculous that you think that. I mean, just think in your mind that Mississippi is the most impoverished state in the nation. Israel is 1/6 land size of Mississippi. Do you honestly believe they're ruling the world? They're not. I'm sorry. They're not. Now, do I believe that in the end times and we see prophecy that there's going to be harder times for Israel and then Israel will thrive in the end times? I believe that because I believe that's what the Bible tells us. But ultimately, we're seeing a complete and utter turn against Christianity and against Judaism and against normalcy in America. For instance, I want to read this to you. And this is actually, this just took place. This was from an airport in America. It says, just tried to sit next to a guy in the airport and he had a MAGA hat on. They literally lambasted him to a point where they would not sit by him. And finally, security got involved and made him either take his hat off or leave the airport. Now, this happened on a plane the other day with an older gentleman as well. Now, what does that MAGA hat represent? Really what it represents is America First politics and mostly a conservative outlook. This is happening all over. But the fact that you're starting to see a more aggressive and more insane and a foolish push against Christianity, against conservatism, against morals and values, the more you're actually seeing harder times for those people that live in that. I want you to listen to what Elon Musk said because it kind of pertains back to the migrant situation in two forms. So this is two quotes he had. I love this quote and it's kind of crass, but I want you to listen. It says, in San Francisco, you can go and actually shoot up illicit drugs like heroin while taking a dump, and this is his words, on the mayor's car in front of City Hall, and nothing would happen to you. They believe that that is your right. However, you walk down the same street with a MAGA hat, you are going to be intact. He says it's insane that we live in this kind of world. That's what Elon Musk said. Now, here's what else he said, and this is why I want to make sure that we understand. He said it's time to re-migrate people that are not part of the same nation. He said re-migration is the only way. He said if you go in the UK and look around, you will see nothing but foreigners everywhere. This is statistics from Great Britain because this relies back on This also goes and reflects all of the Western society, which America is next, because it's already happening in Michigan, it's going to happen in Minnesota, it's already happening in California, Miami, and also New York. But listen to this. It says, across England, 72 schools have not one white British child in there. There is 454 schools. White British children make up only 2% of the students. That is mind-numbing. That means the fall of Great Britain is gone. Britain is gone. Western England, Western European countries are gone. Now you're starting to see a fight back, but it may be too late. Overall, white British children now make up only 1 out of 4 schools. In every London borough except Bromley, white British children are already the minority. There was a migrant that was in the face of an Irishman yesterday, and he said, and it was on Twitter, you could find it going viral. He said, we're having 4 to 5 kids compared to year 1. He's talking to the Irishman, the Muslim is. He says, we will take your nation over. And he's literally saying the quiet parts out loud. So what Elon Musk is saying, if you don't change your ways, this is what America is going to. And it's already happening with the conservative movement, the Christian movement, the people who support Jews. He said it's already happening. He said, we're already seeing this in the big cities. And if you keep allowing this to take place, like the article yesterday that said 60% of people believe Hamas over Israel, that shows that the indoctrination, the media, the manipulation, even by the woke right, the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, people are already so lazy in their thought pattern that they trust that. And now the narrative has switched to where we believe in Iran, in Qatar, and Hamas more than we actually trust in the person that's actually getting our intelligence from the Middle East. Now, what does that do? That makes for the conservative movement not as important anymore. It makes for the persecution of the conservatives happen more and more, even in America, even under Trump's leadership. Why? Because you have judicial judges who is saying we can't deport the people who are not wanting to assimilate. We can't deport the people who shouldn't be here. We can't deport the people that are literally saying death to America. Because this left-wing judge who's only been in power for 6 months, who was never elected but appointed by a liberal ideology, who's not even native to American, has a name like Sparky Spoobinen, and she is going to be overruling Trump, the President of the United States. You tell me we're not going down the same toilet and the same drain that Great Britain is doing. We're doing it here. We're giving power to people who shouldn't have power. And it's sad because no one is standing up to this. Your Congress and Senate are worthless. They're not standing up against this. You have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's supposed to be a MAGA supporter, but she is standing up more against Israel than she ever was against the Somalians that's actually in Minnesota, or the Muslims that's in Michigan. It's unbelievable. And I don't hear any Israel person that's here in America saying death to America. Have you? Have you heard that? But we hear it all the time from the Muslims. But Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and some of these right-wing influencers will most likely destroy and try to hurt the right-wing influence of conservatism in Israel, but not Qatar and Hamas. Muslim migrant in Germany. Listen to this. When we become the majority, we will take over Germany by force. German laws will then be replaced with Sharia law. Listen, this is the important part, because this is what we're seeing all over Europe, and it will happen in America. It's already happening. If anyone stands against us, we will attack them. Christian and Jews alike. They will convert, leave, or die. In the Middle East every day, Christians and Jews are dying. Now, the media won't tell you that. They'll tell you how bad Israel is to Gaza. What they won't tell you is UN's holding up all the food. Go look at some of them. I think his name was Cam Higby. There was 3 or 4 more journalists on Twitter that are literally sharing the fact that there is tons of food, tons of aid, tons of coal, tons of everything that the Gazan people need, even the children need. All the medical aid that they need is sitting in the UN hub because the UN won't release it. Because they know it doesn't fit their narrative to show that America and Israel are actually helping out the Gazan people. And here's what's even sadder. 98% of the people surrounding Gaza are Muslim countries. Not one country has been willing to take them in. Now, who's the loving people here? Who's the hated people here? Who's the people who doesn't want to do anything? And the right-wing influencers are backing them. And the left-wing judges are saying we can't deport the people who believe in this too. You see how we're imploding right here in front of our eyes? we really are getting into biblical times, because the support is wavering for conservatism, Christianity, and the Jewish state. But all the while, we're supporting all this people who are literally saying death to America. Gen Z, 60% support Hamas while they're saying death to America. Unbelievable. Prime example, Beverly Hills has voted to cancel their plan to display the Israel flag in public schools, citing safety concerns. Now, people are like, well, why are they doing that one flag? They weren't. They were actually having several flags up. But they got so much hate towards the Jewish Israel flag that they're not able to put it up now. And they're scared. So they're weak and they're beta males, so they're going to take it down. They'll represent every other flag, but not Israel. The times are changing, guys, and it's a big deal. Now, let's go to what the Trump administration did. Rubio and Trump just came out and said the U.S. suspends all visas of Palestinian passport holders, and they're not allowed to come back to America, which is a good move. You know what's so funny, though? The left and the New York Times and the media is up in arms that we're not allowing the Palestinians to come to our country, to invade our country. The same people that says death to America, the same people that applauded 9/11, those people are wanting to come to America, and you let this judge, Miss Spooky or Sparky or whatever her name is, she wants to let them in. But I'm glad the Trump administration's holding it back. Now here's the problem, and this is what leads me to the Bill Gates story, because this is not just Bill Gates. This is just what's been leaked about Bill Gates. Think about all the other infiltrations into this administration, into every administration, because the government has more employees and more contractors than there's people in America. Did you know that the government either employs or agents or contracts at least 50% of the payroll in America? So that means the government's way too big. But that also means there's bad players in the government who does not see America as the importance as what someone like I would. Listen to this. This is insane. This just got leaked that Bill Gates had secret people, plants hidden all inside the U.S. government. From the ones that's pushing this agenda in the CDC and also the USDA and FDA. Manipulation of the mosquitoes, dealing with what he's doing with them, the GMO modification. They said that he has got people aggressively pushing this narrative. Getting rid of all the meat. You're starting to see more FDA pushes to allow for more meat grown in petri dishes. Mass programs for children. He's one of the biggest proponents of making sure your children are getting all these shots. Now, I want you to listen to this. This is actually from the guy who is, this guy's a Satanist and a homosexual, believes completely in very, very dark, deviant, satanic rituals. And he is a doctor that MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, New York Times, everybody's interviewing right now. He's going viral. Every liberal talking head he's a bald guy, bearded, Dimitri. I want to show you a picture of him just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Now, if you've seen this guy on TV, he's been interviewed everywhere. He's in a suit usually, looks clean, got his glasses on, looks like he's just giving all this information about how you got to make sure that you're giving all these mass things that RFK is trying to cut out, like Hep B. Why do babies need an STD immunization? I've yet to figure out, but they do. But let's really go to some of the other pictures that's even more disturbing. The satanic rituals, and again, graphic, so please make sure you know what you're seeing here. But this is literally him right here. Satanic. But every liberal ideology is interviewing him in his little suit, so it makes him look like he knows things. He's a plant. He literally is a satanic guy who is wanting the very worst of America. It is unbelievable that we're giving him props. I don't see too many times that they're interviewing Christian, pastors, true evangelizing Christian pastors like the Jack Hibbs. I don't see them interviewing him on MSNBC. Do you? CNN, I don't see any people getting interviewed on CNN that's a minister who has their thought pattern. So you see the dangers that we're living in. So let's go back to the plants that Bill Gates has. You wonder why these big players still have so much influence. It's because they have so much power and so much money. And they have so many people tied to them in the government. Did you hear what I said a while ago? This shows the government's too big. 50% of payroll, 50% of people making a check has some form or tie to a government contract, to working for the government, to be an agent for the government, or doing some form of work for the government. That is unbelievable. So we all depend on the government, basically, is what we're saying. That's scary. Because remember, if you got that many people working for the government and they're depending on the government, then guess what? When Bill Gates says, I've got these initiatives, he has all these people that's kind of pushed into the media. He's got all these people pushed into the administration. All these people are paid by the administration. The government is grown too big. That means the agendas that we don't want, we're going to still get. That means the Congress and Senate that we elect, it doesn't matter because they work for someone else, not you. Pay attention. This is why I tell you to prepare for the worst, because now we see the attack on conservative Christian movement, morals and values, the Jewish state, but more than that, we see attack on freedom. Let's go to the other story. Now we pushed against the Great Reset. We pushed against the World Economic Forum. Listen, this is from the World Economic Forum, and you tell me if it's not one and the same. Again, not trying to dog out any of this administration. I'm just saying this shows that government is too big. This is from Yuval Harari, the leader. I mean, Klaus Schwab's second in command when Klaus was over the World Economic Forum, pushing this Great Reset. Listen to this. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for a much better health care and much better basis of safety based on 24-hour monitoring and what happens inside their bodies. People will walk around with biometric sensors even to the body point where it's not just phones, but that we give social media presences, Google, Facebook, and other government like Chinese, we give them access to monitor our bodies and inside their body. We're fine with seeing cameras in homes. We're fine with seeing more surveillance on us 24 hours a day, long as we get the safety and concerns that we're wanting. That was the big push for Great Reset. It's what's happening in China right now. It's already taken place. Actually, even in Israel, there's cameras inside homes. So you're seeing this more and more and more. Now, we pushed away from that. Didn't we want freedom? Didn't we want to where we could be who we wanted to be? We could have free money, we could have free access, we could do what we want, less regulation, less government. Listen to this. This should scare the ever-living mess out of you. This is breaking. Oura Rings just partnered with Palantir and the U.S. government. The sleep tracker on your finger is now tied to Peter Thiel's company and built a spy tool for the CIA and ICE. RFK Jr. already warned us that my vision was for every person to wear a wearable of some kind so it gets our information, our health, so that way we can better make sure that we're serving the people of America. Sounds good, doesn't it? What did we just push against with the Great Reset? They were wanting this wearable. They were wanting this 24-hour surveillance. Now the other side is wanting it too. Ultimately, it just shows you're going to be surveilled by both sides, because it's power and control versus freedom. That's what it comes down to, good versus evil. Let's keep on going. It says, they're returning to the body of 24 hours, 24/7 monitoring and surveillance, harvesting your biometrics, feeding into Palantir, and syncing it to the federal databases. These things will not be good for you. It says the investment that Palantir has made, the investment that AI has made, the investment that now Aura is tied to it, the investment of wearables where people are getting their biometrics each and every day for working out. And look, I'm guilty of that. I was running heavily at the very first of the year, and I wanted my biometrics measured for myself to say, okay, what am I doing? How much calories am I burning? Because I was trying to lose weight, trying to stay on a very strict recomp diet. But then when you start hearing that the fact that all these technology companies are working alongside the government, again, it's not saying that Trump or Palantir right now will use this against us, but what's to say when Gavin Newsom gets into power, or what's to say when AOC gets into power, or what's to say when these Gen Zers who support Hamas gets into power instead of supporting the American dream and Christianity? What's to say they don't use that against you? Don't say they won't, because that was the initiative all along. That is what they were telling you with the Great Reset, that this was going to take place. You have to remember, Trump will come out of power in 2028. The Agenda 2030 is still going forward because the meat situation with Bill Gates, the fact of the push of genetically modified mosquitoes, the fact that we're still just putting tons of stuff in our children and tons of stuff in other people, the fact that 50% of the people are depending on government, money of some sort tied to payment there, that shows that we will take this hook, line, and sinker. Just because we see the D and the globalist push behind the name, now we put an R behind the names of the people in leadership, and we are still okay with it. Now because the R's behind their name and we can trust them more, this is still power and control, guys. So what Yuval Harari was pushing for, that we pushed against, now is being embraced by Health and Human Services and also Department of Homeland Security. You remember, Kristi Nolan to me is fake. She comes across as fake. A lot of these Republican, like Nancy Mace and all of them, they just, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all those, they just come across as fake to me. I'm sorry. You can get mad. I mean, Lindsey Graham too, Mitch McConnell, you can say that too, both. It's not male or female thing. They just come across fake. Well, DHS has made a major push. In the name of safety, in the name of what ICE is doing, they want to get more of your biometrics too. Do we think this is dangerous? Yes. I don't want anyone knowing my information. My wife and my children. That's all it needs to know. And when I need to trust my doctor, he'll have it too. But for the government to know, what does that mean? That means the government then has the power. What if all of a sudden we do the Medicare for all and all of a sudden the government knows you have a pre-existing condition? They say, oh, we're just not going to serve you today. Remember what Canada did? They held up a liver transplant and a kidney transplant because the guy wouldn't get this in his arm. He ended up dying. Socialized medicine. They chose to not give him what he needed because he didn't follow the pattern of everyone else. The whole purpose of today's video is you see, lock, stock, and barrel, that this is a fallen situation. And ultimately, it comes back to control. Now, things that help you not get control. Let's go through a quick list of 5. Buying gold, having gold. Gold is skyrocketing right now. It shows that the nation's money, world currencies are falling to pieces. Gold is skyrocketing. Number 2, understanding that you have to grow your own food and water. Me and Misty were going through seeds yesterday, and even though we harvest our own seeds, even though we have seed vaults, we're still going to be purchasing extra seeds today because we believe in it. It gives us sustainability. The reason we're building the greenhouse, the reason we're building covers is because we want to make microclimates when all of a sudden the atmosphere is not giving the best ways to grow food. We want to make sure that we're sustainable, so we're growing food. We're buying seed. I buy from Survival Garden Seeds because they're non-GMO seeds, and also I trust the company. They're great people, and I can buy it in seed vault forms. You need to go and do it the same thing. Number 3, medicine. Medicine's control is unbelievable. How about putting up some medicine? I buy from Jace Medical and Wellness Company. You can buy from whoever you want to. I'm just telling you, you better start buying some safety medicines to keep up, and antibiotics just for safety. I told you this story before. When we were in Colorado, we were coming out of a winter storm. We had to get out by that day. My daughter got sick. Luckily, we had our medicine with us. She was able to take the antibiotics that we had. We didn't have to get stuck in these mountains, which ultimately had a blizzard, which would have put us in a very big bind because we're not used to driving in blizzards. But we were able to get out safely because we had what we needed. I had to go into a store the other day. It had a pharmacy tied to it. That store, the line for the pharmacy was out the door. Out the door. Because right now, everybody's getting sick and everybody runs to the doctor and everybody runs to the clinic, and now they're trying to figure out how to have enough medicine to make sure to treat all these people. And it got to a point where they were cutting the hours down at the pharmacy because of so many people, they couldn't get to them all. So what they did is they put a time frame on when you could come in and schedule. You couldn't just get in line. Just think if things got bad, what that would mean. So number 3, you need to make sure you have some medicines. You can do it all online. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your home. They send you your medicine discreetly in a box that nobody knows, and now you've got emergency preparedness antibiotics. Huge. It's worth a few $100s you pay for it. Number 4, water. Are you putting up water? The war on water is happening more than ever before right now. And then lastly, number 5, are you putting up freeze-dried foods? Now, we talked about growing food, but have you thought about buying some freeze-dried foods? I don't care who you buy from. Just buy some freeze-dried foods to put up that only water will basically give it back what it needs, its nutrients. It can be where you can eat it, and there you go. You have food ready-made. These things, money from gold and cash to literally food, seeds, growing it, and then having some freeze-dried foods, having the water and having the medicines. If you start having these things, your independence is key, and you're going to be okay. Ultimately, though, none of it's worth anything if we're not spiritually grounded and spiritually preparing. We're living in the fallen times. We're living in the last days. I'm not a prophet. I don't get on all that. I'm just telling you, look around you. The hatred amongst people against Christianity, against conservatism, against values. I mean, you have governors coming out now warning the Trump administration not to come in there because their police are going to fight against them. That's almost like Civil War kind of talk. You don't believe that time is coming where things are going to keep on getting worse? Trump's approval right now is at all-time low. I'm a Trump supporter, but it's all-time low because why? He's actually pushing against the narrative, and people don't like it. It shows that we're already so blinded, and it may be too late. Pay attention. Elon Musk said it best. If we don't start watching out to other countries and what they're doing and having kids, and we're telling our people not to have kids, and we're allowing for all this open migration, what we're actually seeing is the fall of our nation right before our very eyes. And that's scary. Elon Musk don't have to worry about it. The man's fisting to be a trillionaire in the next probably 3 to 5 years. He can fly and go and do whatever he wants to do, live on a yacht for the rest of his life, and everybody brings stuff to him. So I do think, in a way, he's telling us, you better prepare, because some of you people who doesn't have a mega yacht or mega bunker, it's going to matter. And it will. Guys, pay attention to these stories. Focus on the backgrounds. We think things are going great when all of a sudden we hear the aura rings. We hear that we're still allowing people in. We hear that the guy over at the CDC is a Satanist. This kind of stuff is happening. It's evil. Let me know your thoughts for today. God bless.